আপনারা দেখছেন ILFL Soccer Night.
And welcome back. Okay, just before we look at the up-and-coming, very eagerly and anticipated UK Bangladesh Championships, I mean, I just wanted to sort of finish up with Mesbah. I mean, London Tigers out there in West London, sort of solitary, to a degree, the West London sort of monopoly in football. I mean, you've built a very, very admirable model and structure. I mean, what was your advice to sort of the East London teams to get something so big in place?
I think it's got to be unified when you've got to have a bit of vision, really. It's not just to the East London team. I think, you know, up and down the country, I'm trying to inspire others. And even when I formalised it as London Tigers, there was no intention of me doing teams across the country, but there was intentions of doing it in a way that not just the Bangladeshi community, because I hanged around with the Pakistani Indian community with football, particularly with Khalsa Federation guys. I know a lot of the teams across the country, and they've got some huge talent, which was a bit of a shock to me when I started playing in those at the tournaments. I thought the Bangladeshis were the best players around, but then when I went to those tournaments, I realized, oh my God, they've got some really, really outstanding players there. Why aren't they going to mainstream football? Why aren't they going semi-pro? Why aren't they going beyond? And that it was more about that, you know, as a club, if you just go around the corner, there is a wider picture that you can deliver to your local community groups. And I think that's the approach that I'm actually doing. So right now in Southall, we've got so many people there. We're actually supporting club infrastructure to others, because it's not just about us. Because if you look at the population in an area, you will see lots of kids. Look at Tower Hamlets, how many football teams there are in one borough. And are you still touching everybody? I don't think so. There's lots of young people who are still hungry to play. And I think it's that kind of approach that people need to look at. That how do we make it into a community organisation where you can deliver not only just football, cricket, you know, I know Stepney's just starting on the cricket side, taking part in the league, but wide range of sports to community issues as well. You've got health, you know, gang issues, you've got unemployment issues. There's so many things that you can tap into. And these are the kind of programs that we're delivering. So it's not just about football club to semi-pro football and in that kind of format. And I think that's the approach that we're supporting. And we work very closely with many local authority departments to central governments, delivering their issues and concerns of what they need to deliver. And I think that's the angle that we've become a model with many service providers in some ways. And I think we're still here to support people. I mean, I've helped many clubs who want to develop themselves and become an organisation. We're quite happy to do that because of the fact that we can't touch everybody. And particularly if it's a Bangladeshi club somewhere in the country, that they can touch other Bangladeshi young people who can provide a pathway for them to become pros, then, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, at least that's a good thing for us. So we can't do anything. I've just found out today there's a Bangladeshi player apparently playing in Leicester City, you know, football club as an under-16 player. And it's good to know. Apparently Barcelona and everyone are chasing him around. So all we want to say that rather than just competing and making a competition in a local way, why can't we make that into a bigger aspect and put in the efforts in of growing the organisation, giving the young people what they deserve, and start with that. And one of the things that I was going to say that I think a lot of us all focus, including I'm also the culprit, because I do the National Asian Community Cup, which started the journey 13 years ago, playing the final in Chelsea and pro clubs. Why don't we do that for the youths? Why aren't we doing it for the youths? And why can't we do the under 8s and under 10s and why should it be Chelsea coming forward and doing the Asian Soccer Stars? You know, why can't we do something in ourselves and put players through to the pro clubs? And that's the angle that I'm trying to see. If we don't, somebody mentioned that yesterday actually, that, you know, we're too busy, the veterans are too busy playing football themselves, rather than even taking their own sons to football matches themselves. And believe me, it hit me a little bit as well, because, you know, sometimes I'm also the culprit with my son, my younger son in some ways. And I think this is something that we need to look at it. If we've got the passion of playing now and we're still continuing at this age, then can we use that passion to actually support? Because nobody else is going to do it. Yeah, I think it's going to be people like us who's going to do it.
I was going to just say what you said is exactly correct, and you're right. And I think one of the projects we're going to discuss, the UK Bangladesh Championship, is one of the projects that can actually, you know, deliver some aspects of what you discussed about getting community together, not just national. We thought go bigger. That's why we, in partnership with MK Galacticos and Chaplain League, we're trying to do this project. We were successful last year, and hopefully in each year we'll get bigger and better. We'll reach out to the wider community, not just in London, throughout UK, and I'm sure we'll discuss further. And that is something we need to do, similar projects, and not just for the adults. Let's look at the youth, under 16s, under 10s.
Absolutely.
I think.
Well, I mean, the key thing with the UK Bangladesh Championships now, obviously it's an open age tournament, and so the vets aren't going to have so much of a say. And I mean, you boys are going to probably be a lot more busier actually managing teams. I mean, bang on cue, actually, let's have a look at that. Up on the screen, coming up for you, we've got the UK Bangladesh Championships now. For those of you that joined in for our special show last week, we undertook the draw. We had an audience here, we had the guests, and for the UK Bangladesh Championships, I mean, these were the regions that we covered. So we got 5 teams from London, we had 3 teams from Essex, we had 6 teams which we've called sort of Midlands and Anglia, and then we had the 2 teams from Yorkshire, and then it was a big thanks to our guys who did the draw. Nisha Taylor was one of them, and the groups look like this. Group A has Beaumont, MK Galacticos, Sylhet FC and West Yorkshire. In Group B we have Tower Hamlets, Birmingham, Cambridge and Northampton. In Group C we have London Tigers, Coventry, FC Bannigram and Hearts United St Albans. And in Group D we have Bromley, Luton, IODFC and Oldham. So that's how the groups are looking for the UKBFC. I mean, I think I should probably sort of drop each group on one of you at a time. And I think, Rash, I'll start with you. I mean, Group A, your team, Beaumont, have been drawn against Galacticos, Sylhet and West Yorkshire. Talk us through that and talk us about what you think your chances are.
I think every group is tough in its own right, but I think Group A, judging by the history and the players we know and the teams we know, I think that's probably one of the toughest groups. I think MK Galacticos, obviously, they want to win, they'll be strong. Sylhet, a fairly new team, they have fairly a lot of young players. And West Yorkshire being the champions, obviously they'll try and defend it. So I think that'll be a tough group, but obviously it's on the day. Depends on the hunger and the passion of the players, who turns up and who wants to more than the other team, basically.
I don't think there's no arguments that is the group of death, but for Beaumont, if anything, a London-based team, the home team, should be odds on to go through, but you're playing against the current holders of the UKBFC, the current holders of the Unity Legends, and MK Galacticos, last year's hosts and finalists for the Unity Cup. So
it's a tough job.
You've got to be worried as a Beaumont.
It's a tough job, but I think being the home team and playing in London, I think we'll have that slight advantage, obviously less travel, etc. But obviously on the day, it's anyone's game. We can't say no one's favourite, to be honest. For me, there's no one favourite. It's on the day who turns up and who wants it most. And obviously you've got 3 games, so depending on how your results go and other team results go, put you in a position.
As usual goes with the group games. Nanu, I mean, looking at Group B, Tower Hamlets, some of your friends from Birmingham, Cambridge and Northampton. You were there last year, so you saw some of these teams in action. What's your prediction on those 4 teams?
To be honest with you, I don't actually have any predictions whatsoever because the landscape is ever changing. You know, as Ms. Babar mentioned, a lot of communities around the country are moving fast and they're adopting different models, they're trying different things out, different tactics, different way of doing things, and the maturity level is actually going up day by day. So there's going to be a lot of difference in those teams. I mean, I have to admit, my eyes are actually on Group A more than anything. You know, I mean, there's a lot of histories on that. But I mean, if you look at all of the different groups, I mean, there's teams from all over the country, and what I favour most is actually some of the smaller teams, not the big teams from London, but some of the smaller teams. Reason why is because they have a smaller crowd to pick the players, and they could be more concise and more precise. Whereas in London and some of the bigger regions like Birmingham, they will have a variety of players and they will have hundreds to choose from, and sometimes they could get it wrong. With this type of competition, you know, one slip up, that's it, you know, you're out, you know. I mean, look how tight it was last season, you know. I mean, West Yorkshire, I mean, they won it, but it wasn't easy for them. You know, you went on to penalties. The previous 2 games actually went on to penalties, and the final was what was only one goal. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can see how tight it is. So I'm not going to favour any teams, but to be honest with you, I think one of the teams that actually I think that might do really well is MK Galacticos, because they have big ambitions and they have a really, you know, youth product, and they're doing very well, you know.
Shaquille, I'm going to ask you about Group D, because it's your home team of Bromley, and they're up against Luton, IODFC and Oldham. And I mean, going by the Premier Division, probably didn't really have many Bangladeshi players. So they're really going to have to dig deep to find a squad of 15 Bangladeshi players, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been easy for them. So I think we've started training already at the start, and we're looking forward to it. We're doing a little research on certain teams that we don't really know. ROD, we don't really know much of them. They're just coming new. So doing hard. We're trying to find a lot of young players out there. We're only going for youth now. We're going to totally scrap we've got a new manager in place now, Abdul Hamid. So there's going to be a lot of changes in the team, a lot of youth in it. I think the Winter League we had a lot of mix, but I think now we're going to have a lot of youth, and there's no juniors anymore, so we're going to have a lot more youth than usual.
Group C. Mesbah, this is, how do we address Group C? Because London Tigers managed to avoid the group of death. So you've got Coventry in your group, you've got Hearts United St Albans, and you probably know a bit more about FC Bannigram than the other teams. So
well, I've just found out they're looking forward to make it a local derby or something like that. But that's only because I'm from Binibazar and they're next door to us. But I think just going to the overall tournament, I think the concept of it is that we hope, and I think just one from my knowledge is Northampton is one team that have from last year they've gone in and they're actually participating in a league. That will be my long term. I'm always a little bit visionary where I want teams, like we're doing this now. If there isn't Bangladeshi teams across the country, how are you going to do it? I've already experienced it 2 years, just doing it with 8 teams. And because there wasn't many teams coming, they're struggling, sponsors are not coming forward, a lot of people are not supporting them. That's the whole idea that if we can instill that in through this tournament, that local support coming in and these teams can stay alive, be participating, then this kind of tournament will inspire the next generation in their own area. I think that's the approach that we should be looking at.
Just to touch on that, last year in West Yorkshire, they made up of Bradford and Leeds. After the success, there was a lot of interest in football.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of under 16. They had 3-4 teams made up just after the success. So hopefully, even this year...
Well, Nasib Rai is doing more football programs in Bradford. So I think I'm just going in that sense. And just to quickly say about London Tigers, we've got about 5 adult teams playing on Sundays, and it's been going on for years and years now. We've always had 4 on average playing. And, our players are all scattered around in different levels. Some of our Bangladeshi players give up the competition, I'll be honest. And this is what happened last year. So everybody, for where they're going to get, I've got plenty of Bangladeshi players who are decent to play in Bangladeshi competition. They might not be decent to play semi-pro football or in adult competition in other aspects. So last year when we put it in, I didn't think we were going to go that far. I didn't know how good my boys were against other Bangladeshi players, and I think that was a bit of a surprise for me. And I know people ain't going to believe it until we beat in Beaumont. Yeah. That's when I woke up and said, well, hang on, how did they beat Beaumont? Honestly, this was how I felt. And I felt proud of them, the fact that they're young boys. I just put them up. Come on, you come. I know you were good. I know you, and this is what we did. Obviously, this year, now we know a little bit better about them. And even then, don't think that they play together. Some of them don't even play league football. We're just grabbing them together to play again. And again, I'm trying to inspire them to actually get involved with the league football. And that's my focus with London Tigers team. And also, it's a bit of networking for us. We get to see who's doing what in different areas. And I use it as another angle, from my approach. So again, yes, the Group A it sounds like or looks like the group of death. But to be honest, if there's 3 teams in a group, that's a group of death for me, because only 2 teams qualify. The others have to go out. So it's unfortunate that this is what's going to happen, and that's life in a tournament.
Okay. Well, I think you guys have really summed it up, and it's certainly something we're looking forward to. I mean, you 16 teams out there, you know who you are. Just going to quickly bring up on the screen for you the competition that you've all sort of engaged yourselves in. Sunday the 3rd of May in Hackney Marshes. There's all the details on the screen for you. So all the games will be beginning at 10:30. Group A and B will be first to start, and then intermittently all the others will start. Everyone should have been emailed their fixtures, and you can see there 9:30 would like everyone to come down to the Hackney Marshes and register your team. And a very prestigious position. Those that get through to the final played on the next day, Bank Holiday Monday, at Dagenham and Redbridge Stadium. Rash, just to quickly, we've got a couple of minutes, just to quickly touch on Dagenham and Redbridge Stadium. I mean, it was well done to secure that. I
think Cummins worked hard on that to get a professional stadium. It's an excellent venue. I think players and the teams that get to the final will be pleased to play in a professional venue. So I think that's the key thing. So hopefully, best of luck to the teams participating on the 3rd, and we'll see who ends up in the Dagenham Redbridge Stadium.
Thank you very much. We're out of time. that's everything. So there you go, UK Bangladesh Championships to look forward to. We've still got the veterans fixtures that we've spoken about this Thursday, so do come along. Hopefully London Tigers will get awarded their shield for winning the title. My thanks to Nanu for all the stats that he chucks at us, Rashid, our expert pundit, Shakil giving our younger person's opinion on this. Mesbah, again, congratulations to your vets, and we do look forward to you guys representing London in the UK BFC.
Can't wait to lift it up on Thursday night. Everyone's coming down on that day. Bromley's going to have an easy game with us.
We'll have the cameras on. Thanks to you guys for watching this. Emails across the bottom of the screen, so if you have any opinions, send them across. But until next, take care, guys.